Hey everyone, I want to wish you guys a happy and wonderful and prosperous new year. You guys know why I'm here. This is the time of year I love personally, and I say this every year when I do one of these videos. You either going to love this time of year, you're going to dread it, or you're going to hate it. I always love it. We're here right now to talk about tax season 2026, which covers the tax filing for the year ending 12/31/2025, which is tax year 2025. And as you guys know, I am your gracious host, Andre Reese with AndreReese.Biz, Tax Accounting Retail and Life Services LLC. We offer tailored tax and accounting solutions for our clients that live all over the United States. We're very proud that we're able to do that for you guys. And as you guys know, if you've been following my social media, you guys know I have an unusual gift. And I don't think, still in 2025, I don't think I have been able to find anyone else on this planet that has the same magnificent gift that I do, no matter where I go on this earth. I don't care if it's in North America, South America, Europe. I haven't been to Australia or Antarctica, but I'm quite sure it also applies there. Anywhere in Asia, I'm able to find tax deductions and business opportunities everywhere I look. And I'm always here to help you guys out. Call me to book a consultation or visit me at my website, AndreReese.Biz. And also be sure to go ahead and subscribe to all of my social media and my channels and be able to like this video also as well. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So we're here today to talk about tax season 2025. And I'm here to share some information with you guys to make sure that we're all on the same page. We know what the expectations are. And of course, as part of this process, I always go through and share some exciting news and things that have happened. A lot of you guys follow me on social media, and I really appreciate that. And I'll tell you, it's nothing like having a client call me and say, hey, I got X, Y, Z situation that's taking place, and then I need to figure out a way to be able to get this resolved. We talk through it. In the end, they're like, oh my God, man, Dre, you are all over this planet. You are doing wonderful things. I'm out there with you. So I definitely appreciate my clients that follow me on social media. So if you guys aren't following me on social media, you can through my website, you'll be able to find a link there to be able to get to all my social media. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm on TikTok. I'm all over the place. At least you guys will be able to get some of the interesting information and knowledge and things I present to you guys that can definitely help you during the year. It's all right there. Just go ahead and be able to subscribe to me. And so let's go ahead and jump into some of the exciting things that have happened with my practice here in 2025. So this is the second year. We just hit our 2-year anniversary. It was on 11/12/2025. We actually started the S Corp on 11/12/2023. And so that's exciting that we were able to make our second year of being in business. So we're a little bit past that now, being in January. So we're coming up on, roughly 2 years and a quarter of time that we've been in business. And so we're excited for all the things that we've been able to do and all the people that we've been able to help along the way. And of course, I have personally myself been I've owned my own practice for the last 25 years. So I'm bringing all that experience, but I shut down my previous businesses that I had that were sole proprietorships. It was the retail business and the tax business, AR3 Tax and AR3 Retail, when I was in the Bay Area and relocated here to Richmond, Virginia. Then I started one single company here and became an LLC, and then turned around and did the S Corp election. So that anniversary has just passed of 2 years. And so other exciting things that happened last year in 2025, we got to always celebrate the wins. Definitely got to take the time to do kind of an inventory. We went 100% virtual. So before in the past, we had roughly 20 to 25 clients that we would meet in our Brentwood office. We did fly back to Brentwood last year, and I believe in March, and we met with our clients that we have that have been, that would love to come in and sit down and drop off documents, have a chit chat and talk. And then oftentimes we would do the rest of the process virtual. They may come back in and sign the documents. And so a lot of those clients, we love to sit down and talk and share stories and kind of catch up. And so it was really nice to see everybody and talk to them and then work on getting them converted over to being 100% virtual. So we'll still be able to continue on like we've done before in the past. We just won't be able to meet in person. So we've already gone through and talked about ways that we will be able to make that happen for this tax season here. So I'm excited to get those things, those new ways of meeting with these clients up and running. And that's going to be some of the things we'll talk about here also as well. And so the other thing too is living out here in Richmond, Virginia, we bought a brand new home. So that's another great win. So last year, actually back in 2024, I think it was actually 2023, my wife had mentioned to me, she said, hey, I think we need a new house. And so she'd been mentioning that since we had been dating and once we got engaged and all that. But when she said it in November of 2023, she said it a little bit differently. And so at that moment, we started looking around and we found a house in the prior year in 2025. And it wasn't expected at all, but we got a really, really good deal. So we had to move quickly. And during tax season, we had to put her house up for sale. And then we ended up going through escrow. We ended up moving. And then I went out of town for a little bit. And then we were also working on planning our wedding. So things were a little bit hectic, but we were able to make it through. And I'm thankful for the inspiration and help that she provided in the process. And then so here we are. We're in a brand new home out here in Richmond, Virginia. We're in the greater downtown area. So if you guys are ever, I say this all the time and I mean it, if you guys are ever anywhere out here in this area, let us know. We want to host you guys and have you over for dinner, and we'll make you some delicious food for sure. So we got to get a chance to buy a new home. We also jumped the broom and got married officially on July 27, 2025. That was a fantastic thing that happened. It was so fun and so emotional to be able to tie the knot and bring family in from all over the world and have them become a part of our service. So we were able to do that. Then we also had an additional reception that we held in London. So that was fantastic to be able to meet a lot of Marilyn's friends that she had. That was one of the last places that she lived in Europe before she came here to the United States to work. So it was great to go back and meet people that I've talked to on the phone, and it was such a great outpouring of love and support that we got, not only here in Richmond, but also in London. And then, of course, I continued to work all over the world, and so last year, we didn't travel as much. So the year before, in 2024, I think I flew on a total of 68 flights. It's crazy. I think it was almost 100,000 miles. Everything worked out last year because of all the things that we had to do, that we weren't in the air as much. And the things that we did, we were trying to be a little bit more intentional about them. And so I only ended up flying on 28 flights. And I think this year for 2026, we're not going to travel as much. So I'll be lucky if I hit somewhere about 25 to 30 flights altogether. So that's kind of what we have on the table for this year for 2026. But one of the things that I was able to do is I was able to visit 4 new states last year. That was really exciting. Through the nonprofit that I'm involved with, Parents Connected, we did an HBCU college tour. So I was able to be on the bus with the wonderful students as I think it was maybe 10 to 12 HBCUs that we went to from Florida all the way up the coast to I think Maryland was like the last stop. So we hit all the major name brands. It was fantastic to see that we have an intense culture of college and be able to be around these students, and then take the students to be able to help them make a decision on where they may potentially want to go to college. So that was a lot of fun to be able to do that. But during that particular trip, I was able to go to Georgia, South Carolina, and New Jersey. Actually, Georgia and South Carolina were 2 new states that I went to on that individual trip. And then I also went to New Jersey separately. I actually did a video on it. I had a long layover in New Jersey coming back from seeing my daughter. And so I actually went out in the streets and found the best Philly cheesesteak. You guys can check out that video on YouTube. According to Google, it's the best Philly cheesesteak in Philadelphia. And since they are the godfather and godmother of cheesesteaks, it's probably the best that you're going to find here in the United States. So be sure to check that out. You'll find that on my YouTube channel. I recently did it probably within the last month and a half or so. Then I also was able to go to Pennsylvania as well. Actually, no, I take that back. New Jersey was a separate trip, and then I went to Pennsylvania and went to have the Philly cheesesteak there. So got those a little bit confused, but New Jersey was a brand new trip that we got to do, and we drove through, leaving New York to try to fly out of New Jersey because there was all the issues with the air traffic control. So those are the 4 states I got to visit, and my total state count now is 34, and I want to hit all 50 of them. And then this year we're planning on doing a road trip of sort to hit quite a few states that are on the list. And then also last year we visited, or at least I visited 27 countries in total is what my count is. But I visited 6 new countries. We were blessed to be able to go to Dubai and check out that metropolis. We went to London. I went there, England, Monaco, Italy, Switzerland, and Germany were the 6 new countries that I visited. And then my continent count is still 5 out of 7. I'm still I'm short on Australia and Antarctica, but we're talking about ways that we can go about trying to make our way there at some point in the next few years or so. So very, very happy about that. And then, of course, we went on a honeymoon. When you get married, you got to go on a honeymoon, right? So we spent 27 days in Europe. And so we were able to visit 6 countries while we were there. We visited England, Monaco, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, as well as France. And along the way, we stayed in a few hotels, but we were able to be hosted by some of Marilyn's wonderful friends and family. And it was nice to be able to hang out with everybody, break bread, and then really retrace the steps that she had on her journey for going to college and working her first jobs as she became an engineer. So I was able to see a lot of that on our trip, which was magnificent. And of course, you're going to find some of those videos on YouTube. Just go ahead and take a look and go on over to that area. You'll be able to find those videos and see some information about some of the places that we travel to. And so for 2026, the travel plans, like I said, we want to visit more of the 50 states and try to get closer to, I think I'll probably be in the low 40s as far as states that will be visited by the end of this year. We're going to have additional international travel. Want to also take a cruise as well. And we want to also do some bucket list items that a lot of times if you say we want to do this or we want to do that, people are like, oh, wow, I would love to do that. So we have a few of those things that are on the list and the agenda. And I don't really try to say them too much publicly. If we ever talk on the phone, live, I'll always tell you guys what's up my sleeve. And a lot of clients that I have, a lot of friends, when they do call, they say, hey, what do you guys got on the docket and agenda for the next 90 days? I'm more than willing to spill the beans and, pass on what we got going on, but publicly, I'll say that stuff. That way you guys can be surprised when it actually happens. And this year, one thing that will be unique, it's the second time. So 2024, my wife went to Bangkok to meet one of her teams there. And there's 2 parts to the tax season. There's the regular tax season, that's April 15th. And just assume it doesn't fall on a weekend. And then if you want to take an extension, you get additional 6 months, which is October 15th, assuming it doesn't fall on a weekend. And so the second tax season is pretty intense because it's the last one. And in 2024, I had an opportunity to accompany her to Bangkok, and I took it. And so I ended up finishing up tax season in Bangkok, which was incredible. And in my life, I never thought I can do anything but be at home for tax season. So by being international that year and being overseas, and I think we're 9 or 10 or 11 hours ahead of San Francisco, it created a few challenges as far as like being awake a lot to try to get it done. But it was so incredible to be able to leave the country and be able to work. Because right now I'm set up where all I need is electricity and internet, and I can make it happen. I can go ahead and make it happen and get the tax season done. So that for 2025, I was here in Richmond, Virginia, and we got it done. We made it happen. But for 2026, I will actually be out of the country finishing up that tax season. So we will be in Mexico, Los Cabos. We be celebrating with a dear friend their birthday, and so I think I'll talk a little bit more about it in a second, but what's going to end up happening is I will end up shutting down a little bit early, somewhere around October 13th. That way I can get on a flight the next day and fly out. So that's something that if you are an extension filer, you want to keep that in mind, because we got to get it done a little bit earlier, because once the deadline hits, it's done. But once 2 days before that hits, I'm gone. I'll be doing some minimal. I'll talk more about it here in a minute, but I just want to at least mention that to you guys right now. And then so other things too. Some celebrations and some wins. I continue to grow the company and assist folks all over the United States. And still got clients that brand new that came in through referrals that live all over the U.S. Also had clients that came in organically from the San Francisco Bay Area, Brentwood area, East County area, South Bay. That still continues to happen. I still have a presence there online, so those clients came in. I'm also glad to also announce that I was still continue to acquire brand new organic client relationships out here in Richmond, Virginia. So it's wonderful to be able to locate here completely and then be able to take on new clients and assist them also here as well. But those are all being done virtually. And then the other thing that happened that's great to celebrate here is that we survived our capacity issues. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. And of course, we always need your help for that. And then it was wonderful to still continue to be a light and a beacon of hope. There was a lot of things that were happening in the world in 2025 with the administration change. Being able to talk to clients, I did a whole series of videos that talked about ways that you're able to kind of look at some of the things in this difficult time and kind of make adjustments and keep moving forward. A lot of people found a lot of value in those conversations, and I spent a lot of time on the phone talking to a lot of people as well, and listening to them, hearing them out, and listening to what their concerns were. We came up with simple plans on how to move forward and keep it happening. So I'm very happy and proud that we still continue to do that. And then finally, as we kind of wrap up the good things, not everything was good that happened last year in 2025. My brother ended up passing, my younger brother, on January 8th of 2024. That was sudden. It was a shock to the system. I did also do a video recently in the last couple days that talked about the grieving process. You can find out a little bit more about the story of what happened there. Feel free to see that. It's on YouTube or on my Facebook, etc., and also TikTok. And then the other thing that happened too is I ended up parking my relationship with my son. I think at this point right now, we're just going to pick up, just continue to move on, and hopefully at some point in the future, we will be able to readdress and see if we can make amends and move forward. So, like I said, not everything that happened last year, was good. I'm thankful for all the stuff that happened, and really, truly blessed, and thankful for my wife and my friends and my clients and everybody that's part of my life, and so my daughter, etc., family members also as well. And so I'm very happy with the success that we had and that I had. And it was a great year, like I said, filled with accomplishment and success. So I look forward to continuing to have another wonderful and dynamic year here in 2026. And like I said earlier, I wish you guys happiness and prosperity and peace in this year as we get started here and come up with a plan and try to make it happen, and then check yourself along the way and you'll be okay. So I'm always here to sit down and talk to you guys. If you guys are having any issues, whatever they are, there's always the tax and accounting, but there's also the life services part of the business where I'm able to talk to my clients about really almost anything. And so whatever I have as far as information, things that I can share with you, things I can talk to you about, the wisdom I've gained from having all my clients over the year, I'm an open book and sharing those things to help you be able to get through some difficult times. So let's jump into the next section. Why did I make this video? And so you're going to find that if you watch the video last year in its entirety, you're going to find that there are a lot of similar things. I basically just took the same script and moved some things around and removed things that aren't relevant and then updated some other items. So, some of the things may sound familiar. Don't click out. Just continue through them because there will be some other things that you may not be aware of as we kind of go through this. So like I said, why did I make this video? The reason I do this video is to catch up and check in with you on what happened in 2025, of course. And then this is also a great way to share information about tax season 2026, which we're beginning to start right now. And then this also, and part of this, I want to also continue to talk to you guys about my continued capacity challenges and issues that we face here. And then I want to talk about protocols for submitting documents. I want to talk about best practices for communicating with me here as we kind of go through this season. And then we are also now 100% virtual. I want to talk about that as well. Then want to talk about as well the benefits of joining the family. So before I start talking about capacity, this jumped into my mind right now. I didn't make a note about it. But this tax year is going to be a doozy for sure. The tax season, so when Trump came into office back into 2018, he completely redid the tax code at that particular point. There was a lot of things that happened. There were things that worked out in people's benefits. There were things that got removed. And so in the end, what typically happens is the IRS shuts down its e-file system, usually somewhere around, the 15th of November, beginning of November. Sometimes they'll shut it down, around Thanksgiving. It all really depends. And then they are closed usually through the last week of January sometime. Then they'll open up. And so during that time, we're not able to transmit. I've got my software. It's already downloaded. We can process your returns, but I can't transmit anything to the IRS until they open. And so that first year in 2018, the IRS didn't open until sometime in February. And so, and that was just a normal year. There was no government shutdown that year. So this past year, we experienced a government shutdown. And so you guys all saw what happened to the IRS on the news. And so they went through some significant issues and problems with getting themselves up. So what they ultimately ended up doing this year is that they shut themselves down, the latest I've ever seen it before in 25 years of me doing taxes. They shut down on December 24th, which was Christmas Eve at 11:59. So, and then they're projected to be open again at the end of January, but most likely that's not going to happen. I'm seeing different things online. I check regularly. They probably won't open till around February 15th. But what they're trying to do is they have to go through their normal maintenance process every year where they upgrade their systems and make minor changes, whatever it might be. But at the same time, they're also implementing the new the new tax act that was put into place, by Trump. And then you compound that with the government being shut down for as long as it was. So things are going to be a little hairy and a little treacherous this year. And so you guys want to try to get with me as soon as possible. That way we can get you going. But most importantly, it may take a minute for everything to come up online. And then I think that during that time also as well, there were some issues and problems where they made some last minute changes, to the tax code. And so it did delay refunds. So everybody's going to have a little bit of patience this year for sure. So let's go ahead and talk about capacity. So what does it mean by capacity? So the number of clients I have right now, I service roughly about 300 clients. And if I was going to take care of all my clients all at one time from, let's say, February 1st through April 15th, there's no way in the world that I can do that. I have more clients than I can actually manage, and so the thing that causes the capacity issue is everybody finds their place once they join the firm. Some people want to get their stuff done right away. Other people want to get their stuff done in early March. Other ones, they dread it, they put it off. And so when April 10th or 11th comes around, that's when they're ready to get it done. And so the unique thing is, because you guys only deal with me, all my clients are wonderful. They're all friends. And they have a tendency to believe that they are the only client that I have. And so they tend to forget that once they've gone through the effort and energy of trying to produce their return documentation, and then they give it to me, it's a giant sigh of relief. But you might be doing that simultaneously with 30 or 40 people that same day. And so I've got to be able to get through all that work. And I never know when it's coming, but over time, I've learned with my clients where they have a tendency to fall within the spectrum, and so I appreciate everybody that picks their spot, and it allows me to be able to get everything done the way it needs to be done. But ultimately, like I said, I can't get everybody all in the window by April 15th. So I'd probably say roughly 45% of my clients probably file an extension every year, and that allows us to have an additional 6 months of getting returns done. But if it wasn't for the extension, I would fail. And I think a lot of tax preparation firms would also fail as well. And so I'm up to the point now where I can take on more clients, but if I had to do them all at one time, it just wouldn't work. And even if I just worked, 22 20-hour days, there's no way I can get everything done, because I have a lot of clients that have very complex returns. So what can you do here? And let me just say this. If you're a current client, and I say this every year, I always have space for you. And so don't think that because I have capacity issues that I don't have space, I don't have room for you. Or if you have, a child now, or you have friends or family that you want to bring on into the family that you can't refer them, I still am accepting clients, and so all I'm trying to do is just try to manage the workflow of when my clients provide me information. So like I said, I'm not pushing anybody away. I've never done that at all. And I've never fired a client in the entire history that I've been in business. And so the thing is but the main thing is I never know when people are going to show up. And so when I have a brand new person that wants to come into the firm and become part of the family, I don't turn those folks away at all, unless they're asking me to do something that I have no experience in and I can't help them, because I never know if folks are going to come back. So like I said, that's what our biggest challenge is we never know if folks are going to return. And I have clients that have disappeared. I filed one extension for them, and then the next year I've reached out to them, and then it might be 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then they come back. And they haven't filed those taxes in those years. And it could be a number of reasons why that might happen. It could be an issue with family, or something came up with a medical issue or whatever. So there's a point where people decide they want to get back. So I never know if folks are returning. That's why I always take on new clients, And so, like I said, I don't turn folks away, because that's really one of the most giant variables. And last year, it was a funny year, because I had so many folks that had disappeared that came back. And then they had me file 2 or 3 or 4 years for them. And I was here to help them out. And so I was filing tax returns for folks up until transmitting them up until Christmas Eve, trying to get folks taken care of so we can get at least their stuff e-filed, and so they can get processed and get the refunds back. So like I said, that's always going to be the giant variable. I never know when folks, if folks are coming back. So what you can do to help me, and please do this, please help a brother out. Let us know if you will be needing our assistance this year. And so there's a few ways you can do that. You can start. I've already got clients for 2025 that, because I use the portal, they've already taken and started uploading documents to 2025. They set up a folder, they start putting their documents. So I know when documents are going up in the portal, if you can see those documents there, I can see them also as well. So you don't have to wait for me to confirm. I think a lot of people know that, but if you're new to using the portal, just know that if you can see the documents, I can see the documents and I get notifications. So that's one way of letting me know. Then what I'll immediately do is I'll go to my system. So there's a whole bunch of people I've already talked to, and I have a status column on every return client that I have. And if I talk to people during this time, I'll change your status where I've spoken with you, or you may ask for an extension, so I have a status for that, or you've already started uploading stuff, so I have a status for that where I can start working those returns. If I've asked questions, I need to get information back, I've got statuses for that. So by you guys letting me know that you're coming back in one of these ways, I'm able to update myself and be able to block off time to be able to get you guys covered and taken care of. You can also give me a quick call on the phone. If that's always the fastest, you can send me a text. Feel free to do that also as well. Say, hey, Dre, I want to get my stuff coming. I'm going to go ahead and upload it. No problem. No issues there. And then so the other thing you can do is some people want to have an appointment. Most people know that they can upload their stuff. There's going to be questions or issues. Or if there's something unique that's happened this year, you can give me a call and say, hey, everything's pretty much the same as what happened before, but this year, this individual thing happened. This is what these documents are about. I'll ask some questions real fast. So that way I can understand what may have potentially changed. And if you want to just have an appointment, I have a few people that want to have an appointment every year and talk. We can schedule those things, but let me know on those as soon as possible. That way I can get you guys on the books and we can get everything going. And then if you need, you guys know who you are. I appreciate you. I love all you guys. If you need to skip round 1, which is the deadline filing by 4/15, let me know. I can go ahead and file an extension. I have a lot of people that let me know up front, hey, I'll be coming in September like I do every year, like I've been doing for the last 15 years. So just hang in there, save me a spot. I will be back. So I definitely appreciate you just by letting me know if you want to skip. And if you don't need help this year, if we've had a relationship before in the past, don't ghost a brother. Just say, hey, send me a text. Hey, Dre, whatever reason. You don't have to give me a reason to say, hey, I'm not going to use your services this year. I'll look you up if I need you again in the future. And I'll be like, hey, thank you. Appreciate you. If I can help you in the future, let me know. We're all adults here. And if something happens or something changes in your life, you need to move on. Just give me the courtesy of letting me know that you're not needing my assistance. That way I can go ahead and mark you dormant and not allocate resources to try to follow up with you. I definitely appreciate that. Like I said, every year, roughly 45%, sometimes as high as 55% of my clients will go on extension each year. And so there's a point where because it's so overwhelming to try to manage everybody, there's a point usually in late March where if I haven't heard anything from you, I will go ahead and start automatically filing extensions for folks. Because you never know what may have happened, and I don't want to wait to the last minute to try to file that because it's a lot of work to be able to try to get it done. And so like I said, filing extension is not that big of a deal. I've typically done those probably personally on my returns probably 75% of the time over the years, and so there's never been any type of issue. And then also too, if you expect to owe, if you've done something that's caused a huge tax bill, don't wait till the last minute. It's nothing's going to change at all. You can always submit your documents early. And I did this last year. I probably had 15 to 20 people that were on pause, so we figured out how much they owed. And they knew exactly what the dollar amount was. We ended up filing an extension, and then they opted to go ahead and deal with interest and penalties and have me transmit a day or two before October 15th. That way they had more time to get things together and not have the IRS start their process. So, it's better to know up front what you may owe. And a number of people also in June or July said, hey, I got the money. I got a big bonus, or I did this or did that. I sold something. I have the money, so go ahead and transmit. So there's always a way of facing these things head on. So just let me know. Like I said, we can always transmit your return later, but we can figure out what you may owe now. That way, it's all part of adulting. So you definitely want to probably do that. And if we haven't started the tax preparation process, usually by March 25th, there could be a good chance that we may have to file extension if your return is extremely complicated. So if you are a client that has provided me your information before in the past, things are very, very similar. They're not too complex. If you do come in a little bit late in the season, there's a really good chance that I've already filed an extension at that point. But I try to get as many people out the door by April 15th as possible, because I usually shut down a little bit for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't want to leave anybody hanging too much. But like I said, let me know as soon as you can, always. And, try to keep that in mind with that hard stop about 3 weeks out. And then like the last 2 weeks of the tax season, usually starting April, it becomes a madhouse. So I typically might have 100 returns open at that time that are in various stages of finalizing, inputting, collecting the prep fee, asking for questions, and trying to monitor things. And so my goal is by April 15th. I don't work on the 15th. 14th, everything is generally shut down with me. 15th, I'm just going back and mopping up, make sure nothing was missed and everything was taken care of. And so if you come to me on April 15th to try to have me do your tax return, it's not going to happen at all. And so what I want you to do and know is that as we get closer and closer to the deadline, things get very, very hectic and frantic with me. So you're just going to have to exercise some patience if that's the case, and we can have a quick conversation and a talk, and I'll let you know exactly how things are, because no 2 tax seasons are the same as far as the flow. I can let you know what my chances are of getting to you, but like I said, worst case scenario, we'll file an extension, but just know that the last 2 weeks is really, really rough. And then a few clients, and the last thing, there's a number of clients, like I said, there's roughly about 25 clients that I've met face-to-face, and those have converted over to virtual. A number of them are 100% going to use the portal. We're going to talk on the phone. There's a few that I will actually be mailing organizers to you, or a self-addressed envelope where you can put your tax documents in and mail those back to me. So we'll have those conversations separately, but we've already actually had them. And so I'll follow up with those clients the next day or 2 or 3 or 4 with that information regarding getting the documents to me. And then so the last thing here, kind of talking about for tax season. So we talked about the main season. So now when we come to the extensions, I kind of mentioned this before. The tax filing deadline, the final one for the extension this year, is going to be October 15th, 2026. So it falls during the weekday. And like I mentioned, I will be out of the country for two of my dear friends. They're having what do they call it? It's it's an even number birthday party. So it's like one of those celebratory ones where you have like 40 or 30 or 25 kind of a thing. So it's a celebratory birthday party. I'm not going to miss this one at all for the world. And so we will be flying out on October 14th. So I will do minimal work on the 14th and the 15th. But for the most part, I will be shutting down on October 13th. And I will, as I always do, if I do file an extension, I haven't heard from you, I usually send out about a month or 2 out from the deadline. I'll send out like, hey, heads up, this is what's going on. Get your documents to me so I can get you in the mix, get you taken care of. So that's going to be no different this year. But I want to let you guys know that if you do typically file a later return on the second wave, that I'll be shutting down by October 13th. So there's not any way to get around that this year. And then, like I said, there's a few different ways that you can go about getting your documents to me. The easiest and most, and I would hope that if you do use a method to submit documents, send all your documents to me that way. And so don't send some by the mail, don't fax a few, don't text a few, don't email a few, and don't upload a few to the portal, because it's hard to keep track of all that stuff as it goes everywhere. So if you use the portal, upload all your documents to the portal. That's actually the most secure way of going about getting your documents to me. I will always get notified. And then if you're ever curious if I'm working on your stuff, you can go look and see the stuff that you uploaded. You'll see that I've downloaded it. And so if I've downloaded or started partially downloading, you guys know that I'm going through the documents, at least taking a look at them and probably doing the input on them as well. But the portal is the easiest way to go about it. You guys should all have links. If you can't get into it, let me know. I'll send you a fresh link, a rescue link to allow you to be able to get into the portal. You can also email documents to me. It's not as secure, but a lot of people still prefer that. You can always send it to Andre at AndreReese.Biz. That hasn't changed at all. You can also mail documents to me directly here in Richmond, Virginia. If you do decide to mail documents, let me know in advance. That way I can keep an eye out on them, because I don't typically go to my P.O. box all the time. And if you do mail something to me on April 4th and it takes 7 days to get to me, I may not make it to my P.O. box. I would have filed a last minute extension to be safe. But if I know that you've mailed the stuff, I know I can swing by there and maybe grab the documents and try to get you guys into the pile, get you taken care of. But on my website, you'll be able to find all my numbers to be able to contact me, to be able to email me. You'll be able to find the mailing address, which is P.O. Box 25216, Richmond, Virginia, 23260. It's on there. You can also fax documents. I have a number of people clients that fax documents to me as well. And so that's a very secure way of getting documents to me as well. I have an e-fax, and when they do come in, I get a notification through an email. Feel free to also text me, let me know that you sent them. 925-522-5943. You can always call and text me to talk, to have a little bit of jibber jabber, schedule an appointment. Always you can do that there. Like I said, these are all on my website. And then remember, I am very informal, so I work unusual hours. When people call, I usually answer the phone, and so if you have an issue or a question, don't feel like you have to schedule an appointment to have a 1-minute conversation with me. Just call. And if I'm busy and I can't answer, or I'll let you know, hey, I'll call you back, I'm on the phone, or whatever it might be. So just reach out to me, and if you have a need or an issue, question, problem, I'm here to try to help you guys and get you guys resolved, instead of having to stack everything up and be very, very formal about it. Like I said, the best ways to communicate with me is always going to be text. With the text, when they come through, I may not respond to you right away. I may leave you on red, where you see that I haven't answered. I see that the text has come in, and I see the first few words of it, but I may not have the capacity to go ahead and address it. So sometimes I'll just leave those texts alone, and then I'll address them all at one time. I get so much text that come through. I get so much junk text that come through. That's a good way of me making sure I don't miss. And if you ever have an issue or concern, you can call me or text me again. But like I said, the fastest way always to get a hold of me is to call. So if you have a question, issue, problem, you want to confirm something, just give me a call real quick. That's faster than me actually texting you, because I can talk to you on the phone, on speakerphone, while I'm still doing other work. So that's a great way to be able to talk. And emails are always going to be a slower and lower priority for me to be able to get to. I get tons of spam, and I usually will dedicate 1 or 2 times during the day. When things get busy, it may be a day or two before I can get to my email. So like I said, you can always call and say, hey, I sent you an email, and I'll be able to respond back to you immediately and say, I got it. I just haven't had a chance to. And so we're all good. And if you do upload documents, like I said, I will automatically receive notifications. And if you see the documents there, I can see them also as well. And as we get closer and closer to the deadline, things get crazy, just call me. And so a lot of times these things can be resolved in a few seconds with a quick call, and we're good to go. And so finally here, we're kind of closing things out. A few things here. There's always going to be benefits for joining my family. And like I said, I consider all you guys to be my close family and cousins. I say this every year. And the typical analogy is, if you might have family and friends and relatives that you don't see all the time during the year, you end up getting together with them during the holidays, and you pick up right where you left off at. that's the same way it is with my clients and my friends that I have that I provide services for. I remember everything that's happened and who you are and what's going on with your kids. I'll ask about all that kind of stuff, so that's one of the definite great reasons for becoming part of the family. I'm not treating you like a tax return. You are actually somebody I'm here to help, and I get joy and pleasure out of doing that as well. And I also enjoy having the friendship with all my clients as well, so it's wonderful to be able to do that. And, and if you, and the other thing too is that, like I said, when you become a client, and all my clients know this, if you're a client that's in existence, I assume you're going to be with me for the rest of your life. As long as I'm alive, as long as you're alive, we're going to be, I'll be helping, assisting you. So anybody that comes on to, if somebody has an issue and they want to have a question answered and they call me during the year that we don't have a relationship, I charge $195 to talk for about an hour. And so if you have a quick question or you got a longer issue, I charge $195 to talk. So if you are a current client of mine, you can call me during the year anytime you want. I've had some calls last year that lasted 2, 3, almost 4 hours talking to clients about various scenarios and issues and things. So I'll take the time to be able to, talk with you, catch up with you, address your issues and concerns. And so while we're talking on the phone, we're on speakerphone, I'm doing other work at the same time, so it's not an inconvenience in any kind of way. And so that's definitely one of the big benefits, is that you can always utilize me and my understanding of the tax code and then the wisdom I have from my client pool to your benefit. And so, of course, I always leave this analogy in closing here when it comes to, so you guys can kind of get an understanding of what the challenge is of going through a tax season. And so, it's very similar. It's almost like I'm Santa Claus. And I say this every year when I do one of these videos. Santa Claus has a worldwide responsibility. And he has one single hard deadline, which is New Year's Eve. And so he's, during the year leading up to, Christmas Eve, he's got his elves working, he's building toys, he's checking lists, he's making sure that, figuring out who gets coal and who's been naughty and nice. And he's loading the sled and doing all of his plans. He's setting his, geographical map. And so, and he's got to put, just like if you ever look in the back of a UPS truck, they load the truck based upon their stops. And so Santa Claus has his sleigh loaded with wonderful packages, in the order that way he can fly everywhere and drop the stuff off. And it's super efficient and it's super timely. And so you got to remember, if you decided to approach Santa Claus on Christmas Eve when the sled is already loaded up with toys and said, hey, can you go inside the workshop and make one more PS5 and drop it off to Steve and then drop off, something for Sally, it's going to throw everything all off, And so you got to remember, at any time during the last part of the year, of the season, I can be juggling as many as 100 people, as I mentioned before, trying to simultaneously close their returns. So if you jump in at the last minute and I've got this whole giant mix of stuff going, it can cause, you'll never know that it could potentially destabilize things, but I will be honest with you on where we are and where we stand and if I can make it or not. And at a minimum, we always have the opportunity to file an extension. But you got to remember, it's like approaching Santa Claus on New Year's Eve and saying, hey, can you drop off one more PlayStation or one more bicycle for this particular child? And he's already got everything all done. So I wanted to at least say that there. I am always going to be flexible with my clients. I want to make sure that everybody gets taken care of and that their objectives are met. But the thing is, I'm flexible, but the deadline is not. So you guys want to always remember that. So that's it. That wraps up this video. And this is typical to it usually runs about 55 minutes or so. Got a lot of information to try to cover. But I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to this video and watch this video all the way to the end. I look forward to helping you guys this year in 2026. I look forward to sharing life stories and accomplishments and recommendations. And like I said, if you guys are ever out here in the Richmond, Virginia area, we are here and we want to have you over and break some bread and enjoy a meal. And there's a lot of wonderful things that are going on out here in the town as well. You know, so we're always available to share ourselves and share our lives with you. And it'll give you opportunity. If you haven't met my wife, Marilyn, it'll give you a chance to be able to meet her also as well. Like I said, I look forward to catching up with everybody. And be sure to check out my Cyclecast. You'll be able to find those on my Facebook page, as well as my YouTube, and as well as my TikToks. And what I basically do is I go out and ride my bike, and you'll be able to see in the background the wonderful city of Richmond, Virginia. And I'll actually ride out to the James River, and you'll be able to see all the scenery in the background. I typically will talk about 1 to 3 different topics. And so within those topics, they're usually related to life or business somehow. And a lot of times I'll take a controversial topic or subject. You know, it can be something even like Nick Shirley recently. I did a little montage on him real quick, and even talked about the movie Avatar, etc. And so you can get an idea of how my mind works and how it deals with chaos, and how you can look at some of these difficult things that are happening out here right now and on Earth, and maybe be able to not get bogged down by the negativity and still be able to stay focused and keep moving forward. And so it's really a great way of being able to see how you can utilize these things to make your life better and keep on going and not getting bogged down. You'll definitely find that information out on the Cyclecast. So like I said, reach out to me directly with any questions. Visit AndreReese.Biz/tax to get all the latest information about this tax season. And I'll say it one more time. Remember, I am flexible, but the deadline isn't. Peace, guys. Take care. I love you guys. Be sure to follow and subscribe. And I don't think I have anything else for you. So I will see you guys soon and look forward to talking to you. And I think that's it. All right, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful January, and we'll be in touch soon here, guys. Peace. Bye. In my life. Oh, shit. Okay. My brother fell. This is black ice. Okay. All right, I'm okay. All systems check. All right, I'm good. So let me just penguin it.